Hey, what up everyone? It's Matthew from WRX Cult, and I thought I'd do a new format today for this video, and that's going to be what I'm going to call WRX Cult Q&A. So people have written into me with a range of questions. I'm going to answer those questions right here on this video. So now this is all in relation to my 2021 STi Spec R Australian delivered, and I'm going to start with the questions right now. So this first one is from Con, and he says, awesome purchase. Any reason why you didn't want to wait for the new generation STi, which arrives next year? Con, first of all, thank you so much for the question. I really appreciate you tuning in to my Facebook page and also my YouTube page. The ultimate, the answer to that one is I wanted to get the ultimate car, which is really what I think is going to be the last edition of the EJ25 engine, which of course is the 2021 edition. Now, from what Subaru is saying, the next generation is going to come out at the end of this year, kind of headed for the 2022 release. I have seen some pictures, as some of you would have seen on the internet. Look, I think the front end looks pretty good. I don't know what the drive's going to be like. What we do know though is it's going to be a whole brand new engine, new drivetrain, new chassis, as far as I'm led to believe as well. So with my love for the EJ engine, I couldn't resist getting the last model. And if you think back to one of my other passions is the GC8 version, I remember when they did that from about 94 up to 2000. The 2000 edition was one of those cars that I just absolutely loved. And it was the last edition with all the extra, the updates, the new improvements, right through to the end of that model. So with that in mind, I'm thinking that this one is going to be the same. When it comes into the next model, it'll be the brand new one. It may have some issues, and then it'll probably last for 5 years, and then everyone will want to get the end of that version. So that's why, Con, thanks again for your question. Next one is from P, that's the letter P. Your Spec R has a short shift, mate. I have the same in white. Confirm short shift. Now what P's talking about is I did a video recently where I've said I'm going to get a short shift assembly put into this car from Subaru. Now, I didn't buy that short shift from the dealer. I bought it still from Subaru, but I bought it after the fact. It's going to be installed very, very soon. In fact, that reminds me, I need to call Subaru and double check that they have got the short shift in by now. So P, the answer to your question is, and this is my understanding, the current Spec R or even the Australian delivered versions of the STi do not have the short shift assembly, hence why Subaru offer that as an aftermarket or factory option, I guess you could say, but they're going to install it afterwards. But I remember I got a 2005 brand new STi from Subaru at the time, and I remember I also got the short shift put into that car pre-delivery. And so that's why I believe that maybe, I think you're commenting from the States, maybe in the States, they already come with the short shift assembly. So that's the answer there. Next question is from B3 AV3 Rex. I had the R400 NVIDIA exhaust on my 2013 and I loved it for the first week. Okay. The Q300 is a much better exhaust, mate, and that's the other version of the NVIDIA. The R400 is just too droney at 100 kilometers for mine. Just keep it in mind. Hey, well, look, thank you for letting me know about that. I did some investigating on YouTube. You know, there's a lot of guys out there who have done videos, and I went through a range of different exhaust systems. For me, I really wanted that really deep droney, deep throaty kind of sound from the exhaust system, very similar to the early models I just remember when I was in my early 20s, and I just absolutely loved that sound. Now, you could be right. I could get the R400 and absolutely hate it, but from the research I've done, I think the R400 is going to be the one. I don't do a lot of highway driving anyway, so I won't be sitting at 100 kilometers an hour down the highway having that constant drone, as you put it. So I will take that into mind, and I really do appreciate that comment. Next question is from Goran C, and he says, what about the tune for your exhaust, mate? Well, I didn't mention that in the last video, Goran. But yes, I am getting a tune done. So what's going to happen is I'm going to take the vehicle into my mechanic. He's going to fit up the exhaust and some other engine modifications, as I mentioned in the last video. Now, in that last video, I did make a mistake. I thought that I was getting the exhaust and then the tune. What's going to happen, I'm going to get a blow-off valve put in, plus some dress mods in the engine bay. That's stage one. Then I'm going to take the car back about 3 weeks later, and I'm going to then get the exhaust put on, the engine modifications, including some cold air induction, etc. The car is then going to get put on the back of on a truck, and then it's going to be transported about an hour's drive north to go to a specialist tuner. So I will not be driving the car whatsoever before the tune happens. Okay, but thanks so much for that. Next question, Mr. Unsane. You might want to look up the cob access port because you are definitely going to need a tune with those parts, mate. Thank you so much, Mr. Unsane. Yes, I hear you. Look, one thing I want to say, and I want to be crystal clear on this, I'm not a mechanic, I'm not a tuner, I'm essentially a hobbyist who loves the WRX and STi cars. So I'm not going to pretend that I know all about access ports and all that kind of stuff. All I know is I'm going to a specialist mechanic, they're going to take care of it. I can assure you though that the car is going to be tuned, as I just mentioned before. Next question, Game FUN Limited Gamer. That's the person's name. Great. And this is one of my favorite ones, actually. He says, and I'm going to put the voice on because they're going to sound better. These are just cosmetic mods. For God's sake, don't throw your 7K down the drain for this. Now, what this person is talking about is last video I talked about how I'm getting $7,000 Australian dollars worth of modifications to the car. Exhaust, cold air induction, oil catch can, new injectors, etc. Go and check out that video if you want to see what I'm doing. And he's talking about, hey, you know, $7,000 down the drain. Well, first of all, thank you so much for commenting. I really do appreciate it, because every time you do put a comment in, it helps the algorithms and helps grow this channel, which is awesome. So look, all of them are not cosmetic mods. Obviously the exhaust, the blow-off valve, the injectors, cold air induction, not just cosmetic. I'm not going to be ripping the engine apart and you know, doing internal modifications. I'm not going to be taking it down the drag strip. I'm not going to be racing it around track. This is literally just for me to cruise around town, pick up the milk, maybe pick up the kids from school, and have a bit of fun on the weekends, maybe up in the mountains. That's pretty much it. But as far as the money, look, I'm in a really fortunate position in my life. I've worked a lot. I've got a bit of spare cash these days. So for $7,000 for me to put into the car, is certainly money well spent. And I've got this kind of belief now that, you know, for all my life, I have not actually spent any money on modifying cars at all. I mentioned before about the 2005 STi I bought. The only thing I ever did that was put a set of 19-inch rims on it, and that was pretty much it. I didn't do any modifications to the engine or anything. And I just think at this time in my life, I think it's worth it. You know what? And this is for all you guys out there too who want to modify your car just even a little bit. You deserve it, all right? Because you only live once. Last question, this is just a comment. This is from Flex030, and he says, wow, not wasting time. That's right, Flex, not wasting time getting these modifications done. This car's only done 1,500 kilometers, and yep, I'm just gonna get straight down to the mechanic, get to the tuner, get some modifications done, and it should be sick. All right, thanks so much for the questions. Now, if you've got any questions that you want to ask me, and I'm happy to answer the questions for you on this channel, please write them into the comment section below. You can do that on here, or either on Facebook, or you can also write your comments into the comment section beneath this particular video. But anyway, thanks so much. Let me know if you think also if 7,000 Aussie dollars is a waste of money spending on this car. Love to know what you think. All right, thanks so much and take care. Into the